Um, Here at Slay Girl Slay, we are talking to the women who are what I like to call on the verge of their come up. They are creating their own vibe. They are in the process of fiercely transforming their lives. You have built such a unique approach to that exact process, self improvement. But can you take us back to the beginning and just share your unconventional story of your glow up and how you created your own vibe and transformed your life?
Ooh, I love that, Ashley. And honestly, for everyone listening that feels like they're at that cusp right before a big life transformation, they've been putting in the work, they're ready to change. I just commend you because that takes bravery, putting yourself out there and deciding to change,
Hmm.
choosing something different. That takes bravery. That takes believing in yourself enough to know that this is possible for you, which is the full truth, by the way. All of us have such
Absolutely.
unlimited potential. So I love that feeling that I just got when you mentioned that of,
Same. Thank
yeah, the
you.
audience on that kind of like they're on their way, they're on the mountain, they're transforming that
Yep.
feeling of improvement. It's so addictive. I just
Yep.
love it.
Yep.
So, high level, my story. Over the past decade or so of my life, I've been committed, deeply committed to personal development. It came because, at the beginning, I was not happy with where I was.
Mm.
About 11 years ago, I was in a place in my life that I felt so stuck. I felt so frustrated and honestly depressed about the situation I was in. Every area of my life was lacking mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, socially. Every area I was just lacking, was living paycheck to paycheck. Didn't grow up with a lot of money, so I felt a lot of insecurity about around wealth. It was something I really wanted to create for myself, and I didn't know what to do to get there.
Mhm.
I was trying to start all these different businesses, and things were failing, and I just felt very lost. Romantically, I had never had a boyfriend before. I
Mhm.
only started properly dating someone who ended up becoming my husband
Oh,
in my early
wow.
20s.
I
Yeah.
love that.
We actually just got married a couple months ago.
Oh,
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you
That's
so much.
exciting.
It was a good full circle moment. And,
Nice.
yeah, other than that, mentally, my relationship with myself physically, I did not like the body I was in. I felt
Mm.
unhealthy. I felt bloated. I felt I was not treating myself with love and respect. I had some serious issues around body image and confidence. So, all in all, the picture was unhappy, broke, depressed,
Yep.
feeling like crap, needs to change life. Essentially, that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
the
for sure.
yeah. So I discovered personal development and I went all in. And since then, it has become my career because I've ended up changing my life a whole 180. Every single area I just described there has transformed in the most awe jaw dropping way
Yeah.
that makes me so excited to share
Mhm.
with the world exactly what I did because it was so complicated at the time, but I've really been
Yeah.
able to simplify it.
So
So
can you
that,
tell me
yeah.
how that started though, right? Like,
Yeah.
so you have all these things that you're kind of dealing with, like mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically. But what is the moment where you're like, okay, enough is enough. I want to make a change. I know I want to do something different, but like, what's the first step that you
Mm.
took?
Well, for me, it was the curiosity of, okay, you know what? What I've obviously believed about the world and myself has not worked in my favor.
Yep.
So I'm going to be curious and try to learn new information. So that was kind of how it all began. I started reading books. And Ashley, this was over 10 years ago.
Okay.
Personal development wasn't cool. Like,
Mm,
it was not cool to
yeah.
be reading these personal growth books with an old guy on the cover with his thumbs up. Like, it was just, like, cringe, There were no cool podcasts about it. So,
Yeah.
I really feel like there wasn't a lot of content I could consume. I was watching seminars on YouTube, like Tony Robbins
Tony
seminars 'cause I
Robbins.
love
What is his
him.
name? What is it?
Wayne
Wa
Dyer, like,
Wayne
all the ones.
Dyer.
Yeah, all the ones, and YouTube was amazing at the time because free content. And yeah, so I was just digging my teeth, and that was really the beginning. It was curiosity, and I'm a
Okay.
natural learner. I'm very curious as a person, so I started reading all these books and just absorbing all this information, and for a couple years there, I was Definitely improving, but it wasn't
Okay.
happening fast enough. I'm quite an impatient person. I always like to find, the shortcut, and I like things quick. It's just how
Same.
I am.
Same.
Yeah. So basically, the growth wasn't happening at the speed I wanted. So
Right.
essentially, I kind of created a new tool for myself, and that's what changed everything. So essentially, just to give you some backstory before I share that specific,
For sure.
note, I was doing everything these experts were telling me to do, but the one thing I could not stick to for the life of me was meditation. I knew it was something I should be doing. I don't know why
Yep.
necessarily, because like I was in a phase of life where I wanted energy. I wanted to feel motivated and disciplined to get up and go move and work towards this new life. I needed passion and energy, and I needed to feel invigorated. So
Yep.
I didn't understand how closing my eyes and trying to calm my body would help me get to this next level version of me. I understood how it could help me calm my nervous system, but I didn't really care for that at the time. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I wasn't wanting to calm down. I wanted to get up and go. So
Right.
I couldn't stick to meditation, and I honestly didn't really try to that hard because I didn't
Right.
actually understand how it would help me. So what I did though, Ashley, that was the most game-changing thing that I can tell you has affected the past, 8 years of my life, is I took out my phone
Okay.
and I decided to record an audio visualization for myself.
Okay.
I just intuitively did this one day in my 200 square foot studio apartment,
Yep.
and I just described what it would feel like to be my future self because I was reading books at the time about visualization, neuroscience, how this actually affected the brain, but I didn't know what to do because I wasn't trying to meditate. So I
Right.
recorded this audio and then I put it into GarageBand and I added really cinematic movie moment
Oh,
music
okay.
to it. Yes.
Yeah.
I'd listen to these audios. I created dozens of them because 'cause I'd get bored of them quickly. I This was like my side hobby no one knew about. I would listen to these audios constantly, and I would do it throughout my day. So while I was waiting for public transport, while I was walking to work, while I was grocery shopping, while I was cooking dinner, I'd
Yeah.
listen to these in these everyday
Right.
moments. And I'm telling you, Ashley, it was a bell curve. If you think about it like a graph, the 1 to 2 years I was kind of doing all the other stuff and trying to figure it out, the growth was menial. And then the
Yeah.
moment I started listening to these audios, which I now call activations,
Yep.
it was this bell curve of growth. Like literally the line on the graph went whoop and went right up. It was crazy. So,
Wow.
long story short, 4 years ago, I ended up releasing these to the public, creating general ones, for the world, and actually working with an insane team of audio engineers and people that write these scripts, and, like, I have a whole team
Wow.
creating these now, so they're
Yeah. Yeah.
actual, like, like, insane audios.
Yeah.
So that's where I am today. Now I own activations.com, and it's not meditation, it's activation. It's a new type of audio that changed my life, and now we've helped change over 100,000 lives to this day.
I absolutely love that. And we're going to get into activations in a second. But I just have to say, like, when you had the thought to record yourself in your apartment, right? Just this thought, like, let me just talk to myself, right? There is something in hearing your own voice affirm like what you really want for yourself, what you believe in yourself, because I feel like a lot of us sometimes get stuck in survival mode, right? And we're working full time, we're balancing bills, we're managing families, right? Some of us are dealing with parents, sick parents, but also still trying to like chase our dreams, and we want more, and we want the success, and we want the money, etc. So I think that's so cool that you had this thought like, "You know what? I'm gonna just talk to myself and I'm gonna say what I need to hear to myself," and it's gotten you to this point.
Yes,
That's
it's
amazing.
very powerful, especially just being able to put yourself out there and even consume content like this. Like,
Mhm.
it was cringe back then. It's a bit less cringe now. But people would kind of look at me weirdly if I told them that I was really into self-help and
Yeah,
doing these things. So, yeah, it requires you to kinda get out of your comfort zone and think, "You know what? I'm just gonna give this a shot,
for
see if it
sure.
works." And, yeah. So, I totally agree with you. There's power in that. I will say, though, I did struggle. I think the activations that I have now with all the audio engineers that we have on the team and all of like the editing and the intense, like making them actual cinematic masterpieces,
Mhm.
I feel like that affects my energy more than like my uncertain voice at,
Mm.
my younger
Mhm.
years, like
Mhm.
trying to tell me I was going to be able to create, like I needed something more authoritative. So,
Right.
um, yeah, that for me that worked. But yeah, honestly, anything audio related that is visualization focused, I just really promote because
Yeah.
especially when you're habit stacking it. So even listening to this podcast,
Right.
what whoever's listening to this podcast right now, I'm sure you might be doing the laundry or going on a walk or
Yep.
living your life, right? Like this is a podcast that helps you become a better version of yourself. Like
Yep.
even just
Exactly.
listening to content throughout your day, flooding your mind with possibility, flooding your mind with potential. That is a sure way to start moving in the right direction, to
Mhm.
continue going in the right direction. So I think that's the biggest thing is just that commitment to yourself. And audio is very powerful because
It
you can
is.
habit stack it. Just like podcasts, just like
Yep.
activations. You habit
Absolutely.
stack listening to these. Everyone's busy. Everyone has so much
Mhm.
crap they need to deal with in their lives. Adding another thing to your list is really hard sometimes. So
Like,
this is
how?
why this work works so well because you can
For sure.
easily integrate it.
For sure. And even going back to like what you were saying when you were first building activations out and we were talking about working and balancing life and just pushing past some of those things. How did you manage to build something meaningful when maybe there weren't enough resources for you at the time or maybe your life was getting in the way or your confidence
Yeah.
maybe was low? What were some of those limiting beliefs that you had to break through? Because I feel like a lot of
Mhm.
people that are listening we all have that same thing, right? Especially my listeners, they're all listening and they have something that they want to accomplish, achieve, see their lives as their future selves. And there is something up here in the mind where I feel like we got to push past, but it's different for everybody. So I'm curious to
Mhm.
know for you, what were those limiting beliefs and how did you push past them?
It's a great question. One of my biggest limiting beliefs was this can happen to other people, but not me.
Mhm.
That was a big one.
Mhm.
It's like, why me? I literally had to reconstruct my neural pathways in my brain to
Yeah.
think the opposite of course it's going to happen to me. I was
Wow.
destined to live
Yeah.
this life. I was born to live a life that was extraordinary. So I had to completely flip that narrative. Another one
Mhm.
was I just had this victim mentality towards all these areas of my life of like, oh, I can't because of this. I can't because my parents don't have enough money to help me with this business. I can't because, I'm not pretty enough. I'm not this enough. Like whatever it
Right.
was, whatever silly
Yep.
beliefs that we have, especially as women, it was the victim mentality that I just had to completely smash down and
Mm.
full stop because that was one of the things that kept like a disease, coming into certain parts of my life. And the opposite belief of I am a victim because of X is I'm 100% responsible for my life.
That's
And
so
that
true.
belief, honestly, Ashley, changed my life because
Mhm.
I started to feel empowered and I started to realize, okay, if I want that, I'm responsible for making it happen.
Mhm.
And when you don't believe that you're responsible for your life, you don't actually put the necessary work and action into doing the thing because you think it's kind of not up to you at the end of the day. So why
That's
would you?
true. That's true. That's so true. I also feel like I love what you said there because I feel like sometimes when we're in that victim mentality and we're like, that could never be me, right? Because I'll be honest, that's been me so many times. My family doesn't come from money, and I was the first in my family to graduate, and I've gotten my life to this point. But there's still so much that I see that I want for myself. But in the back of my head, sometimes it's like that can never happen for a girl like me? And so when you try to switch your brain around and you're trying to tell yourself every day, like, but that could be me. Why not me? I feel like sometimes we teeter on the side of feeling like we're a little delusional, and a little
Yeah.
quote unquote crazy. And that also will stop us from getting there. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I feel
Being
like sometimes we're
delusional.
like, I feel
Yeah.
crazy, for saying that. But how do you keep that going when you're still trying to tell yourself, "Hey, I'm gonna do this. It can happen for me. I can make $500,000 a year. I can whatever, and not feel crazy about yourself. Or are you supposed to feel crazy and just do it anyway?"
It's such a good question. I'm really excited to dive into this because honestly, there this deep belief that I've had and that I've forced myself to have about the future that I wanted, this deep belief in myself, it has absolutely been delusional and it got me here. So it works.
Yeah.
Obviously, there is a level of delusion that you need to watch out for, like, if you're
Mhm.
completely not in reality, I have a pretty good head on my shoulders, I think, but the delusion comes from your belief in yourself, okay?
Mhm.
So, for example, and the delusion has to remain even when negative things happen. So, I've had
Okay.
many entrepreneurial ventures before I started activations, and most all of them failed. Most of them failed. All of
Mm.
them really failed, to be honest with you. And
Okay.
every time I got close, though, I've had a lot of opportunities in my life come to like the 11th hour, thinking it was about to become this huge success, and then something dramatic happens and it completely fails. Like I've had a lot of
Mm.
situations like that, which is
Okay.
honestly the best training to go through because
Okay.
in those moments, I was like, okay, I knew it. I'm about to make millions of dollars. I'm about to
Right.
have this insanely big opportunity. Then something happens. It gets literally slipped away from, the rug gets taken from
Right.
under me. And then I have to remain delusional and think, okay, you know what? That was not what the universe wanted me to go
Yeah.
down. That was not the route. But I'm still going to be a millionaire and I'm going to find the next way to do
Right.
it. So that is why it's so important because the delusion is for the belief you have in yourself. I am delusional in my belief within myself. I am, and I've trained that. I was not born with it. I trained that. And I believe wholeheartedly that that is what led me here because I embodied the self image of someone who could make millions of dollars a year. I embodied the self image of someone who lives in a happy, healthy body and
Mhm.
gets to eat whatever I want and not have any weird crap with
Yeah.
food like I used to. I
Yeah.
have the self-image of someone that has the most incredible romantic relationship, incredible friendships, and literally lives the life that I've always dreamt of. I have that self-image. I had
Mhm.
that deluded at the time, you know, belief within myself that has now turned into an actual reality. So, yes, be delusional,
Be
100%.
delusional. I love that. Okay, so here on the Circle Slate podcast, I like to make it very, very practical for my listeners. So if someone's listening right now and they're like, Ash, Mimi, I know that there is more to who I am. I know that I've got more. I know that there's more to me that meets the eye. There's more that I want in my everyday life. I want more. How can they stop playing small and start attracting those bigger opportunities and success and change that self image that we were just talking about?
You gotta do something different to change something in your life. You need to do something different. If you are wanting change, but you're continuing to stay in these daily routines that you've had for years, nothing's
Hmm.
going to change. You can listen to an inspirational podcast like this, but if you don't actually take action and commit to changing a practice in your life, a habit in your life, whether that is a morning routine that reminds you of who you want to be,
Yep.
whether that is deciding to listen to a motivational podcast or activations when you're on your
Hmm.
afternoon walk, whether that is committing to sitting down one afternoon and journaling and figuring out in clarity who you want to be and what you want to
Hmm.
do with yourself, whether that's turning your social media off for the week to just get really clear minded because social media is a great way to feel numb, and when you feel numb you don't feel clear minded. So you need to kind of, take these steps and make these moves and just understand that it doesn't have to be this big complicated thing. We
Mm.
often feel like growth is this very big complicated thing when it
Mhm.
actually isn't. I have a simple two-step formula that I can share with
Okay.
you guys.
Yeah, sure, sure.
So I wrote a book this year called Activate Your Future Self,
That's
and
amazing.
thank you.
Congratulations.
This is the two-step formula that I have spent the past decade studying and seeing results from, not just within myself, but with the tens of thousands of people that I've had real testimonials from,
Okay.
that have used activations. So the two-step formula is this. First, you need to get crystal clear on who your future self is. Who is she? How does it feel to be her? What is her energy? What does it feel like to live in her body, to think like her, to act like her? What beliefs does she have? How does she hold herself? How does she dress?
Mm-hmm.
What's her posture like? And most importantly, what is the frequency that she feels? Like, what is her energy? It doesn't have to be all woo woo spiritual. Like, literally, just how does it feel being her? What is her frequency? What is her energy?
Yeah.
And when you tune in to your future self frequency, you will feel just so much love and excitement. You're going to feel like this is how you want to feel the rest of your life. You'll know
Yeah.
each how to get there and stuff in a lot of the work I do. But essentially, you can just do this by yourself at home. Just essentially think about 3 to 5 different emotions that you think your future self has and
Okay.
layer them on energetically until you feel kind of a whole, cohesive frequency that feels like your future self. And I know I just said that very quickly. We have activations in the app to help you do that. We have in my book, I teach you how to do it in more depth, but
Okay.
that's essentially the high level how to do it. But so
Okay.
clarity is step 1. You need
Okay.
to get so clear and not just thinking, the house she has. You have to actually feel how it
Okay.
feels to be abundant, to be wealthy, to be unlimited, to be healthy, whatever you want. So it has to be a physical sensation.
Okay.
Okay. Then step 2 is becoming. You must then become your future self before the material has manifested into reality.
Okay.
You have to first become the version of you that has the life you want before that life comes to you. And this is where all the good stuff happens. So you've had clarity and now
Okay.
you become her. You be her now in everyday moments. And I can tell you more in depth how scientifically this actually helps you transform, but
Okay.
high level, these are the only 2 steps you need to take to transform any area of your life. That is it. I'm telling you, I promise you, it doesn't have to be this complicated, hard thing. It can be very simple.
Okay. So when you say like be her, right? So full stop. I have shared with my friends that since I was 12, I have wanted a Harry Winston. Now, to someone out there in the world, they may think I am insane. And I have had friends who have said, Ash, you sound insane when you say that. But since I was 12, I have decided, like, I'm getting a Harry Winston. I don't know how. I don't know how. I don't know who it's coming from, but I truly believe that I will own a Harry Winston one day, a ring. And I'm sharing this with like friends one day, and they're like, okay, whatever, but in my head, I feel like sometimes I put on like my class ring and I'm like, this is my Harry Winston, and I don't know if that is me becoming, right? Me living in this idea that like, this is who I am, this is what I want. But when you say becoming, what do you mean? Do you mean, if I have this version of this vision of myself, do I dress as her every day? Do I like you get what I'm trying to say. I feel like sometimes to make it even more simple for people, because it is easy to
Yeah.
overhaul and you're like,
Yeah.
I got to change all these things about my life. Do you suggest we just change one part of our life, right? Like maybe it's just how we dress for right now. I dress as my future self. Or is it the food that we eat? Or is it the rings that we wear, right? Like, what do you recommend?
So I see it as like I'm a method actor, or,
Okay.
I'm like literally just becoming this version of myself that, by the way, you've always been. Your future self is more you than anything else. I
Okay.
don't believe that transformation is becoming something you aren't.
Mm-hmm.
But it's becoming the version of you that you're meant to be. It's more about removing layers of what you're not, I believe this work is. So, really
Okay.
understanding that this is designed for you, this is you, this is meant for you. If you have a little voice inside of you asking, what if I could become this version of me? That's because that's actually your true soul coming out. That's my belief.
Mm.
So to answer your question, I believe that being her now is not hard, so you can be her now in any way, shape, or form. But just know that the transformation will come before you be her 100% of the day. I
Mm,
still am not my future self 100% of the day. I feel like her now 95% of the day, but I used to
okay.
feel like her maybe 50% of the day. And I already saw insane results even by only feeling like her 30% of the day.
Right,
So
right.
the trick is reminding yourself in everyday mundane moments to be her now. When I first started in this journey, the biggest thing that would help me is listening to my activations. And
Okay.
this was because I would combine listening to activations with everyday activities. And there's actually science to show you why this changes your brain really quickly. So think about it this way. We've all heard of Pavlov's dog theory,
Yep.
classical conditioning. Pavlov rings the bell, the dog salivates. We've all heard of that. Well, activations actually take advantage of the same thing. So when
Okay.
you are listening to a walking activation for 15 minutes when you're walking the dog in the morning, or you are listening to a getting ready activation when you're doing your makeup in the morning, soon enough, you won't even need that activation to feel abundant, unlimited, like your future self, because you
Mm,
are training your mind and body to believe these new thoughts, to have these new thoughts, to embody a new energy in these everyday repeated mundane moments, and it's like you are conditioning yourself. So to answer your question, it's really all about reminding yourself in these everyday moments. This is so simple. This work is very, very simple and it is not complicated. So, doing that, you could also put reminders on your phone. Be her now. I used to put post it notes on the back of my phone case. Be her now. Reminding,
mm.
it's like
I
Nike.
love
Just
that.
do it. It's really easy. Just get up and go. Get up and move. Get up and be
Right.
her now. We complicate things as humans, but it actually is so much more simple than
For
we
sure. I love that, and it doesn't you can't do that, which is why I love your two-step process. You can't do that if you are not clear on
Mhm,
who that is, so that
mhm.
clarity piece is also so important. So thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that. I love that.
Yes, absolutely. Listen, I keep talking. I will talk for hours about how simple this work is because I used to think it was so complicated and I didn't know where to start. I was reading all these books, they're all telling me different things, but at the core, it is your self image. It's like, think about it like an onion. The core of the onion is your self image. All the layers outside of it, it's like your habits, your thoughts. If you just try to change your habits, like I love the book Atomic Habits, but
Yep.
I don't think that that's the book to help you radically transform everything because it's
Right.
focusing just on one layer of the habits.
Yep.
If you just try to change a habit, that's a very hard way to transform. And I like the shortcut. I like the easy route. Like I know you do too. We were talking about that. So if you want to just hurt yourself to transformation, which is like killing yourself in the gym, trying to be the type of person that will get up and go on a run, feeling shame if you don't do it, thinking transformation is hard,
Yep.
That's one way to do it. But the fast tracked way to do it is by simply looking at your self image,
Mhm.
shifting it, deciding to change it and manipulate it in certain ways to align with your future self. And then you'll start to notice magic begins to happen. You begin to act like her, you begin to feel like her, and you begin acting like her, having the same habits as her, speaking like
Mhm.
her, going to an event, seeing that person that has that business that you want to collaborate with, and just walking up to them and saying, "Hey, I have a great idea. We should do this thing together," with so much confidence because you are already her and you already know your worth. So you end up doing all these things without even realizing.
Right,
And
right,
that's
right.
where the transformation happens. It's not poof, you have a new self-image and the law of attraction puts it right in front of you. No,
Right.
it's poof, you have a new self-image and you become the type of person that has that life, therefore it's
Yeah.
inevitable.
Love it. Mimi, I was gonna say you should write a book, girl, but you already did. You already did. So we're gonna have to get that book. I'm gonna have to get it. That sounds so good.
Oh, you're
I
so sweet.
love this whole topic that we're talking about. But let's switch gears a bit. I want to talk about activations a little bit more. So for you guys listening, activations is the app that Mimi created with these motivational audio tracks that you can play anytime, anywhere, which I absolutely love. Unlike those long form podcasts and visual podcasts that are out now, or meditations, these short guided audios are designed to very quickly boost your energy, shift your mindset, and inspire you to show up as your best self. So, first of all, I love that it's called activations because that's exactly how it feels when I listen to it. Like I feel activated. I use activations in the morning when I'm getting ready. I love that there are literally 5-minute activations for getting ready, 10-minute activations for starting your day, 15-minute morning walk activations that I can use when I walk to get my coffee down the street, you know? I also love that I can listen when I'm winding down for the night, right? I'm in this era of trying not to be on social media so much. And I found that in the mornings when I woke up, the first thing I would do is like scroll,
Yeah.
and that is a horrible way to start your day. But since being on activations, literally, I wake up, I pray, I say my morning prayer, I get up, I turn on my activations, I'm brushing my teeth, the music is vibing, I turn it up very loud in my bathroom. I'm sure my neighbor is getting a little bit of activations too. And I absolutely love it. So, for someone brand new to activations, where should they start?
It is the easiest thing to start because you just listen to activations like you're listening to a podcast right now. You know, it's just you'll notice when you start listening that it's you get this craving to listen to an activation like the craving you have to listen to music or a
Yep.
podcast. We're just in like in a different mindset. You know, you're like, okay,
Mhm.
podcast, I want to be in a mode of, I want to learn. I'm in learning mode. Music, I want to kind of tune out and, boost my mood or whatever it
Yep.
is. Activations, okay, I want to really feel like my future self. I'm actively
Mhm.
wanting to feel like I'm in this moment of transformation. And the reason that they change how you feel so quickly is because we do this very unique mix of visualization, more conversational, guided, motivational pep talks, essentially
Yep.
combined with movie moment music. I'm talking cinematic movie moment music. We use composers from all over the world that create movie scores for top TV and TV shows
Wow.
and movies. So we literally use the most incredible musicians that know how to create music that instruct you to feel a certain way. Music is so powerful
Yep.
and really such a big component of this app. You feel like you're the main character of your life, and that combined with
Mhm.
these, positive new beliefs and thoughts being flooded into your brain, it really acts like a subliminal and it changes how you think and how you feel very quickly. These are
Mhm.
designed to be listened to in everyday moments. We have 16 plus categories from walking, cooking, cleaning, getting ready, anytime,
Yep.
workout, whatever it is. We have so many different categories, and we also have almost 800 activations in the app
Wow.
with 3 to 5 new ones every week. So, this
Wow.
is for you if whatever you're doing, wherever you are, whether you're in line at the grocery store,
Yep.
whether you're working, just having them on in the background, we have so many different types. It is literally designed to be habit stacked. We're all so busy, and then there's science as to why habit stacking, it actually helps your new neural pathways form, and that's what I mentioned earlier about
Yep.
classical conditioning. So
Yep.
it's really a win-win. It's a new type of audio that just makes transformation a lot more simple.
I absolutely love it, and I love that you shared that you have composers that is putting the music together. I feel like because you mentioned before that you had trouble with meditation. I will be the first to tell you, as much as I share on this podcast and tell people, you know, get your mind right, get your body right. I personally cannot meditate. And I've shared this before on the podcast.
Yeah.
I fall asleep. My mind starts to wander. I do the exact opposite of what I think meditation does for some people. So this really changed the game for me. I literally was sitting at my desk the other day and I opened the app and it was how to reframe a challenge quickly.
Yeah.
And I think it was like 10 minutes. And so I was like, you know what? I had just got a really weird email. And instead of letting it take over the rest of my day, I just listened to the activation and I was just like, you know what? we can keep going now, you know?
I
So I
love
really,
that.
really like that depending on how I'm feeling, depending on what's going on in my life, any day of my life, there is something that I can tap into to speak to that. So I really, really, really like that about activations.
Amazing. Oh,
Yeah.
amazing. I'm so happy to
Yeah.
hear. We've had a lot of crazy success stories with the app because obviously it's to help you transform any area of your life. It's
Yep.
an active way to, transform a certain area. So whether that is someone listening wanting to transition into a new career and needing that extra boost and clarity,
Yeah.
whether that's someone that has just ended a relationship and needs to feel like they're like new best self again, any type of life transition or potential like want for a life transition,
Yep.
that's really the type of customer that benefits so much from activations.
Yeah.
And the success stories we've seen have been kind of insane too. We get testimonials every single day, and we have a whole customer love Slack channel where
Oh,
our
wow.
customer support team or social team posts screenshots every day, and that's honestly what keeps me going because
Aw.
we have an amazing community of
Yeah,
people that are just, like, showing up for themselves and seeing a change, like,
for
we
sure.
have this we have a lot of lucky girl energy,
Yeah.
activations on the app. We actually have, like, a whole challenge, like the Lucky Girl Challenge, and there are all these
Ooh.
activations to help you get into this lucky
Yeah.
girl mindset, and, we've had tens of thousands of people go through that challenge, and the amount of, like, write-ins that we've had from that challenge, people just saying, I don't realize, like, how well this works, but I have noticed so many things happen in my life over the past 5 days that it's like, it can't not be this,
Yeah.
Small things like finding that parking spot, and bigger things like
Yeah,
getting
like
that
little
raise.
things.
The
Yeah.
small and the big, and it's
Yeah.
because you're starting to notice different
Mhm.
things happen in your life, and you're starting to act different, therefore create a different result. So, obviously, the parking spot thing is a small thing that your RAS, the reticular activating system in your brain, is just starting to notice. So,
Mm.
the RAS in our brains, it acts as a we all have one. It acts as the filtration system in our brains. It's
Okay.
essentially the system in our brain that helps us decide, or it decides what we consciously notice and don't notice. And if we didn't have this, our brains would literally explode because there's just so much information around us at all times. So, what activations do is they help reprogram your RAS to
Okay.
start to notice things that are aligned with these new thoughts and beliefs that are being flooded into your mind with activation. So, as in, let's think I am a lucky person and
Right.
there's so much good happening in my life. I'm exactly where I need to be. I'm perfectly
Right.
positioned to live this big life full of abundance and opportunity. Guess what happens when you really start to listen to that content significantly? You go to your, I don't know, a party, or you go meet up with a group of friends, and you notice that this person there has this business or is in this type of group that they could then invite you into or collaborate with
Right.
you. And so you're noticing things that were always there, but now your conscious mind is actually seeing them, therefore you're
Mhm.
taking action on them. So it's crazy to think about how many things we've missed out on when our
Yeah.
RAS was programmed in a different way.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I absolutely love this. And for those of you that are listening, if you are ready to try it right now, we do have an exclusive link in the description with a special offer just for you guys. Just go right to the description, click the link. You guys can try it for 2 weeks free. I love it. I think you guys will absolutely love it too. Mimi, I have to tell you that I think my favorite one, and I have a lot, but I think my favorite one is the $100,000 a year visualization. So I
Yes.
had never done one of those before when I tried it, and I shared this with my mom, and I literally called her right after. I said, "I have to tell you what I just did." And I'm explaining the visualization to her, and I told her, I said, I know a lot of people who right now in this season of life with everything that's going on in the world, we need a little extra cash, right? Everybody's trying to make sure that they have enough, right, to take care of their families, to eat, to pay their bills, etc. And so when you listen to something like that, I think like the first thing that we think of when we say, "Oh, I want to make more money," is the external things, all the things that I just named, right? Feeding your family, paying the bills, etc. But what kind of shifted for me in that visualization was you said, what is it? feel like internally, it was all the internal things because I feel like we get stuck when they say, if you want to make $500,000 a year, you can feel that way right now. And I'm like, well, my bills don't say that, you know? And so I really, really enjoyed that visualization because it made me stop and think like, wait, Ash, okay, these are all the things that you want to do with this kind of money externally,
Mhm.
but what kind of person do I need to be? How do I need to feel to make that kind of money, to manage that kind of money? And it was making me really think like, oh wow, like I have to be that kind of stuff would make me feel safer, more
Mhm.
freedom. There'll be a safety net. It was just all these things where I was just like, I never stopped to think about that. You know, we think of money, we think of external things, but the visualization really helps me think of the internal stuff and how to
Mhm.
start feeling that way now so that when that kind of money does come in for me every year, it's not foreign to me, you know? So I
Exactly.
really, really loved that one. I think that's my favorite one by far.
Who do you need to be to have that wealth? That's the
Mhm.
question. I love
Mhm.
that category. It's actually in the targeted visualization category in the app, the money manifestation ones, the income manifestation ones. And I can tell you, those are some of my favorites as well. We put so much effort into those audios
Yeah,
specifically because it's like, they need to change your energy. You know,
for
this is
sure.
important. It was very important for these audios to shift how you feel in a very short amount of time.
Mhm.
So, I'm so glad you love those. They're some of my favorites as well,
Love
and
them.
let's talk about how you can feel abundant if that number in your bank account is not aligned. Like, how can you act like your future self that gets 2 massages a week when
Right.
you are living paycheck to paycheck? So,
Right.
let's talk about that.
Right.
Basically, there is a really simple way to explain how you can do it without spending the money you don't have,
Right.
and you have to think about it like, let's just say, you won the lottery, okay?
Mhm.
You know that your numbers matched on the card, and you called them up, you went to the office, they said, "Ashley, you won 500,000 or $1,000,000 or $10,000,000, whatever that
Yeah.
number is, okay? You won this amount of money. It is yours. We've confirmed everything. Yep, it is yours." You gave them your bank details. And they say, "Okay, it's going to take 5 to 7 business days to land in your account, but this is your money.
Right.
Welcome to the millionaire club. You know, you are now,
Right.
a millionaire. Congratulations." So,
Yeah.
how would you feel in that 5 to 7 day period before that
I
money hits your account?
Mimi, I'm not even gonna hold you. I will disappear off of the face of this earth, change my number. I'm out. Uh, all of this, I'm leaving. I'm going to I'm traveling like just peace. 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 No, but really, I would there would be a sense of relief.
Mhm,
I would feel this immense sense of joy
mhm,
because now all of the doors that were once locked because
mhm.
of finances, I now have a key to unlock them. Um, and what did I say? Joy, I would feel freedom. I'd feel secure. I'd feel incredibly secure for the first
Mhm,
time, which kind of makes me feel like now I can do anything, right? Because I have a safety net. So I guess I would feel abundant.
mhm.
Um, yeah, there's a lot of other
Describe
things
that.
I would feel too.
Describe abundance. Like, what does it feel like in your body to be to have this money?
um,
Like, what's the physical sensation?
it feels like, you know, like when you're about to open up a Christmas present
Yeah.
and like when you're a kid and you've been asking for something for so long and you just know that box that's wrapped that looks just like what you want and that feeling of like, oh my gosh, it's about to happen. Like I don't know how to describe that feeling,
Mhm.
but my body feels,
Anticipation, yeah, excitement,
yeah,
yeah.
excited, anticipating it. Like I'm ready for it. That's how that feels.
Beautiful. So, basically, this is how to tune into that frequency without
Mhm.
spending all that money. It's just tuning into how you'd feel in that 5 to 7 day period, whether it's winning the lottery or getting a job opportunity that pays you 500 grand a year. You know you have it. You know it's yours. in that moment, but before that money's landed in your account, what are you doing? Are
Right.
you looking up ways to invest it? Are you learning about investing in ETFs? Are you learning about, how much money you're able to, put aside tax free, whatever it is? Like, are you educating yourself on how to actually be a wealthy person? Because that is actually incredibly important. I think there's a crazy statistic like over 70% of people that win the lottery spend it all and go bankrupt within 5 years or something
Wow.
crazy like
It
that.
honestly doesn't surprise me, though. It
No, it
doesn't
doesn't
surprise
surprise me
me.
either.
Doesn't surprise
Because
me.
you should think about it like a thermostat.
Yeah.
If your money is, number is set at, let's say, a 70 degrees on a thermostat, even if you open the window and a gust of cold wind comes in, the heater is going to turn on to warm it up to keep it at a 70. The
Yep.
opposite is true as well. If for some reason it gets really hot in there, or you open up the oven that's on, like it's going, put the air
Yeah.
conditioning on,
Yep.
like you have a set point. Every single one of us has a money set point, and
Mhm.
we all have a relationship standard set point. We all
Yep.
have a body and health standard set point. So, for example, if your money set point's at 70 degrees and you get a $5,000 bonus and it's brought up to like 71, you are going to not even realize it, but you're going to spend that 5,000 on something to bring it back down to be comfortable in your 70 degrees. So you need to do the work
Exactly.
before you
The
have all
5.
this
Yep.
money and you make all this money to make sure your set point is at like an 100 or 120
Mhm.
before
Mhm.
you make that money, so that you make sure you can keep it, and you have to think like a wealthy person, act like a wealthy person. I remember before I ever made money, I used to dream about, "Oh, I could go on shopping sprees, I could buy whatever I want." And, like, honestly, now having enough to be able to do all those things,
Mhm.
it like, buying the
You're
new
like, "No."
Chanel bag, like, doesn't actually do it as much for me as I
Right.
used to think it would, and listen, that's coming from me, I have a good collection of Chanel bags, but it doesn't give me the feeling I thought it would back in the day, and I'm
Right.
now like, I only buy things if it's not gonna be a faff, or if I really want it or something. So, it's funny
Yeah.
that your money mentality changes over time, because I remember really wanting all these more material things, which,
Right.
listen, I'm not saying I don't like that now, I definitely do, but it's not my main motivator, and
Right.
I get more excited about the number in my savings and my investments going up
Mm.
than I do about spending, because I actually am
Yeah.
in this energy of of maintenance and growth at the moment.
Right. 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 That's so good. I love it, you guys. If you, like I said, the link is in the description if you want to try it out. Let that be the first one you try out. If you do, it is I
The
10 toes
yearly
down. I
income
loved it.
ones?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, and like, whoever's listening right now, listen, if you wanna take advantage of the 2 weeks free thing that we're offering to Ashley's listeners, go ahead, but I will say we wanted to offer 2 weeks as a free trial because specifically you can feel a massive shift within a 14-day period.
Mm.
So you
Okay.
don't even need to commit to anything until you actually see the shift that you can feel
Right.
in your life.
Right.
So I think it's activations.com/slay, and
Yep.
you can get an insane discount on a yearly subscription and the 2-week free trial there. Make sure to go to the website though, because we can't offer discounts on the App Store. So go to the website first to sign up, and then you can get the app after. But 2 weeks is a very good amount of time to feel a difference. You could feel a difference
Yeah.
in 5 days. You could feel a difference in a very short amount of time. So just take
Yep.
advantage of it and
Yes.
then cancel if you don't feel a difference. But we also have a money back guarantee if you forget to cancel.
Love that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with my audience. I know that they will absolutely appreciate this.
Oh, no,
So,
no worries.
switching gears just a bit before we wrap things up, I have a few more questions for you, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Um, I think that many women struggle with self comparison, right? Or comparison and self doubt. What advice do you have for boosting confidence for those people who are listening who want to feel more secure within themselves and just reclaim that main character
Yeah.
role in their own life that we were talking about earlier?
It's such a great question. I think so many women struggle with confidence, and I've definitely been there. So I feel you. The crazy thing about confidence is that you can turn it on. It is not this thing that you're inherently born with. I know some people are born with it, but you
Yeah.
can train it. It is something that
Mm,
you can just switch on like a light switch. That was at
okay.
least my experience with it. So, part of my future self vision when I first started this work was a very confident version of myself that is very self assured, that is very confident in who she is as a person. She doesn't want to be someone else because she's happy being her. That was really the vision that I had for my
Mhm.
future self. And the more that I did what I spoke about earlier, the being her now, the more I just
Yeah.
tried on and acted as if I was already her. And I just got familiar with how it would
Mhm.
feel to live in the body of someone that felt energetically confident. And it really is one of those things that you just shouldn't overcomplicate because think about it like a light switch. Just switch it on, switch on your confidence, act as if, act like you're a
Yeah.
method actress, and walk into the room and just feel what it feels like to be worthy. And
Yep.
also, you mentioned the word comparison.
Mhm.
I think comparison is the worst thing to do if you're already an unconfident person because you aren't supposed to be someone else. Why
Right.
compare your journey to someone that already lives and exists? You should be thinking about your own journey as an individual path because we're all so different and you are so unique that your path will be unique to everyone else. So just keep the focus on yourself.
Yep.
And the only time you should ever look at your situation versus someone else's situation is to prove to yourself that it is also possible for you. Whenever you feel like a victim, whenever you tell yourself, "Oh, it can't happen to me," you need to start looking at other people that have started in a worse place than you, that have achieved what you desire, and I can promise you there's always going to be an example of that.
Mhm. Oh, for sure. I feel like when we literally open up TikTok and Instagram, like the first thing you see is this beautifully curated morning routine, this 32-step process,
Yeah.
this makeup routine, and people look like goddesses and they're living in these beautiful mansions, and they're saying if you only post 100 times a week you can do this too, and you're just sitting there like, I'm just trying to get through the day, now
Yeah.
I got to post, and I want that kind of life, I want that kind of freedom, I want to look good, I want to feel good,
Mhm.
and that is when that comparison starts to kind of creep in. But I love that you said, be her now,
Yes.
act as the person that you want to be, not everyone else that you see.
And forge
Um,
your own path. And
and
I'm
forge your
telling
own
you,
path.
you saying the whole, like, 10-step morning routine, whatever, that I actually, to be completely honest with you, used to think the morning routine thing was so essential, and it does help
Mhm,
a lot of people, and I did it a lot at the beginning of my journey. But the more I have just focused on what actually works and
mhm,
simplifying transformation, the more growth I've seen, the more results I've seen in my life, and the less I've actually been doing. So I don't
mm.
even do a morning routine anymore. It's kind of
Yeah,
controversial. All
yeah,
I do is I make sure my energy is aligned with my future self, no matter what that looks like. Some mornings
yeah,
it'll be reading a magazine while having my coffee. That's my morning routine.
yeah,
If I can tune in to my future self in that moment, then that is successful as a morning routine for me. And
yeah,
then other mornings, I feel like I need to journal to get into that mode. So it's always different, but I'm coming from someone who lives a life beyond my wildest dreams, who
mhm,
earns more money I could ever imagine, who lives in the most beautiful homes that has the most incredible husband. Like honestly, I feel like I'm living my future self life through and through, and I created this. This wasn't handed to me. Also know that I never had one perfect day. Also
mhm,
know that I don't do a 10-step morning routine.
yeah,
Also know that I am just like every single person listening, and
yeah,
it is possible for you in a non-perfect way.
mhm,
Perfection is not what you should be aiming for. What you should be aiming for is a quick bounce back rate. How quickly can you get back to feeling like your best self once you fell off
mm,
track? That's it.
yeah. I love that. And you mentioned forging your own path, right? What are some simple ways that women can do that every day right now and feel alive? And how can they kind of romanticize this idea of forging their own path instead of just doing what everybody else is doing online?
You really need to connect with yourself. So if you are consumed with social media, I urge you to get off of there for a little while. I took 8 months off of social media last year, okay?
Wow.
I think it is one of those things that numbs you like
Even when you were
crazy.
like creating activations, your
Yeah,
activations is out, so, like, you
yeah.
didn't feel this need to just be connected and see what
No,
everyone was saying and doing, and
no, I
interesting.
have 200,000 followers, and I was like, this is not I
Peace.
honestly, like, what I realized was me being online was not a 10x opportunity for me. For some people it
Mm,
is, but for me, it wasn't. I also doubled
okay.
my business the 8 months that I was away. So
Wow, that's
I
amazing.
thank you. I decided that there was going to be a reality
Yeah,
where I did not feel numb anymore because I was a busy person. It's not like I was sitting around scrolling all day, but I found myself scrolling in those in between moments where I
yep,
needed to just like actually connect with myself and hear myself think. We're living in an epidemic of people feeling numb. And listen, I'm back on social media right now, but I'm noticing, okay, damn, I'm feeling a little numb because I am
yeah,
scrolling throughout the day, even if it's for 5 minutes here and there. Don't like that feeling. So I'm now
yeah.
starting to realize, okay, maybe it's time to put some limits into place again.
Mm,
We're human. We cannot, it's very difficult to resist the social media giants having thousands of employees that are specifically in jobs to help make the app stickier, which
right,
essentially means having people on the app for as long as possible, and we're
yep.
victims to that. Well, we're not victims because we're 100% responsible for our lives and we can delete the apps, but really, we have control to
Yeah,
delete them. So, to answer your question kind of in long, I believe that social media doom scrolling, I believe that overeating, over drinking, doing drugs, watching TV for way too long and doing
yeah,
anything like that in excessiveness, that will put you in the numbing bucket. And when you
mhm,
feel numb, you don't feel alive. When you feel numb, it's very hard to work on yourself because you feel numb. But then the opposite of that is aliveness and feeling alive. And that is what I seek every day. That is the feeling that I
mm,
like best when it comes to being a human being alive on this planet. I know you probably feel the same. And things that make you feel alive, deep conversations with people,
mhm,
being present, really taking your time to like have your morning cup of coffee, journaling, connecting with yourself, listening to music,
yeah,
activations. Every single activation on the app is designed to make you feel alive.
I love
And it
that.
is connected with my life's work of helping people feel alive and transform into their best selves.
I love that. I love that so much, and I we're gonna wrap up in just a sec, but I felt like because I have, like, this show and I've been running this full time for the last few years, and I don't have a team of, you know, 20,000 people,
Yeah.
and so there's just always this need to I gotta perform, I gotta stay connected, I gotta post, I have to do this, I have to do that. And you're right, there is this feeling of the more that I engage and the more that I am over consuming things, the less I am connected to
Yeah.
myself, my true self. So thank you for sharing that. I think a lot of
Yeah.
people will get something out of that nugget that you just shared. So thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. I've loved this conversation. You're so easy to
Yeah,
talk to.
me too. I loved it too. So last two questions. These can be very quick questions. Out of all the activations on the app, which track or category is your favorite?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so just like music, some people hyperfixate on like a song. Like that's me. I'm the type of person that hyperfixates on like a song and then I can't listen to it anymore. So I'm the same with activations. We have other people on the app that literally just listen to the new content constantly. So let me pull up my app right now. I've been obsessed with this one new one. I'm going to go to my playlists, my favorites. So I can't even tell you how different I did this one when I was walking this morning. I felt so insanely different after. It's called Energetic Reset to Feel Alive and Manifest with Ease. And I favorited this one on the spot because I literally was like, I felt like I entered a new reality. It was crazy. I was walking and
Okay.
I just the light started looking different. I just felt like I was in my own movie. It was like the most insane experience. So I
I
felt
love that.
so alive, and the music in
Okay.
that one's amazing. So that's my new hyperfixation. I also love
Okay.
Feel Magnetic Abundance Energy. That one helps me get into the zone, when I wanna, be in more of an abundance mindset. There's also a new
Okay.
one on the app called Manifest a Specific Opportunity. I'm not gonna share what it is, but I'm in the
Mm.
process of manifesting a specific opportunity,
Okay.
and this
Nice,
one's been on
nice.
repeat. So
Okay.
I often you can listen to activations wherever, whenever. We have the categories to help guide you, but I'll often listen to an anytime activation, when I'm walking or,
Yeah, yeah.
grocery shopping, whatever it is. But we have so many different categories. I would say if you're listening to this and you're starting your 2 weeks free trial, just try any of the ones I just mentioned or um, the targeted visualizations category. That is the category where the yearly income visualizations
Mhm.
are, and that's Ashley's favorite. We have
Mhm.
yearly income from 100,000 a year income visualization all the way up to like $10 million a year, which
Mhm.
and everything in between. So really just
Love it.
choose what feels aligned with you. We also have the manifest money category within that where you can where there's categories from manifest 100 or manifest $1,000 all the way to manifest $100 million. We have everything in between. So you can literally just choose what feels right for you, tune in, align, and just change your self-image. That's how it works.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, last question. I ask all my guests this question. I am very big on reflecting.
Yeah.
And so thinking back to Mimi in that 200 square foot apartment,
Yeah.
and you pulled out your phone to do that first recording, what would this Mimi say to that Mimi?
Oh my gosh, that's such a great question. Keep going, girl. You are on
Keep
the
going,
right
girl.
path. You are exactly where you need to be, and you don't even know how full circle what you are doing is going to be in, 8 years, 9 years time. It is going to be a beautiful full circle moment, and just know that your intuition is right, that this work works, and the belief that you have in yourself now will be the thing that gets you there. So just keep going and enjoy the process because you're going to get there.